BYU and Wisconsin. Now, this is an interesting matchup, of course, because Wisconsin, obviously a great team, but they get a ton of line respect from the market. They've already had 2 big wins this year, but both of them were ATS losses because they were just too massive of a favorite. And, BYU is a team that tries to emulate Wisconsin. It was strong in the trenches, strong running game. And, last year they got blown out by Wisconsin, but it was a terrible spot for BYU. They had a lot of injuries, and I remember that game. That game just had blowout written all over it. Feels like BYU is going to come in here and try to prove themselves as a team that plays the same style as Wisconsin and somewhat capably. They did lose to Cal last week. I'm looking at this game, and I'm thinking that this game might, again, another college football game this week with a very low total that I think might still have a little bit of value with the under. I don't think that BYU really has the speedy kind of receivers that they'll need to stretch the field. So I think we're going to see a lot of strong defense, a lot of running, and I'm leaning under here. And as far as the spread is concerned, is this another situation where Wisconsin is clearly the way better team, but getting a little bit too much respect from the market? What's your take on it, Al McMorty?
Well, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago, I went against this BYU team last week as we had our huge play on California. I wanted to go against BYU off its upset win as a double-digit dog versus Arizona. And the final score of that ball game last week was 21-18, but it really was not as close as the final score indicated, as Brigham Young got 1 touchdown. Their first touchdown, in fact, was off a defensive return for a score. And then they never got an offensive touchdown the entire game until under a minute to go. So California held BYU's offense out of the end zone for the first 59 minutes of the game. So it was a complete domination by the Golden Bears defense. In this ball game, as you mentioned, last year's game was 40-6, but it doesn't really tell the whole picture, as BYU did not have quarterback Tanner Mangum for that ball game. And Wisconsin did hold BYU in that ball game to just 192 yards of offense. I think it's going to be another repeat of that game last year. I really like Wisconsin here. And for people, as you know, I'm a technical handicapper, and it's worth noting that undefeated teams like Wisconsin off back-to-back point spread losses that are also winless against the spread for the entire season. Those teams have covered 59.2% as favorites over the past 38 years. I think Wisconsin, even though they're 0-2 ATS, is a great bounce back spot for them. I'm going to lay the points with whiskey.
All right, that line is getting bit down just a little bit. Hey, are you guys hearing that those UFO sounds?
Yeah.
Ian Cameron, were you hearing that? Yeah,
I did hear it.
Is there any way we can remove the UFO sounds, or is that not possible? Yeah, we're going to try? All right. Anyway, the crux of what Al McMorty said, I understood. He likes Wisconsin here. There has been some early line movement in favor of BYU, which is kind of nice because now it is down to 21. It's 22, 21.5, or 21 market wide. And Pinnacle has Wisconsin minus 21, minus 106. Currently, so that's the line that we can credit you for. Al McMorty, have you thought at all about the total on this one? Because I'm thinking that if you're liking Wisconsin here, then presumably you're liking BYU to have trouble scoring at all here. What do you think about the very low total of 45.5?
I think it's probably pretty fair, but I'm going to stay with the total and just take the side.
Okay, we're still having some audio issues with Al McMorty. Maybe we can maybe some other time when we're not shooting a show, do some troubleshooting here and try to fix this for next Wednesday. Thanks for bearing with us, viewers. All right, I'm thinking about the under here. Al McMorty's liking Wisconsin minus 21. Ian Cameron, it's a very interesting matchup. What's your take on this?
Well, it's a tricky game for me in this one. I'm staying away. That being said, I don't trust BYU's offense to move the football up and down the field. I still look at Tanner Mangum as a pedestrian quarterback. We saw it against Cal. I was on Cal as well last week, plus the points. Cal's going to be great, by the way. Pick him in the underdog role. That I'll be looking for Cal in that role all season long. They're fantastic defensively. They bottled up BYU last week, and I think BYU is going to struggle to move the ball here. I mean, Squally Canada, I love that name. If he can't run the football for BYU here in this football game, I think it's going to be tough. And I don't trust Tanner Mangum to run a one-dimensional pass-oriented offense if the run gets shut down. And I think Wisconsin's probably got a good chance to do that. So, 21 and a half's a lot because BYU can still play solid defensively. But BYU's offense, I don't trust. So if I had to, I'd lean to the favorite.
All right, but everything you're saying right now, Ian Cameron, are the same kinds of things that I was thinking, which is what made me lean to the under. And I was also thinking about maybe the BYU team total under, which would be somewhere between 10 and 14. What would you say if I wanted to give the under as an official play, Ian Cameron?
Team total might be a better way, Pete. You're right, because Wisconsin, will they score enough? That remains to be seen. I don't think their offense is completely gelled at times early on, but I do think BYU is going to have trouble. So if you want to target BYU team total under specifically and exclusively, I got no issues with that.
All right, sounds good. Ian Cameron, thanks so much. No play from Ian Cameron on this one, but Al McMorty again, liking Wisconsin, especially now that they're down to a 21. That might be a key number in a kind of game like this, which should be a blowout, but low scoring.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.